Oh, and we've got a deer in the backyard, which Kiki's gonna wanna chase. Please leave and not eat all of my stuff. Thank you. Nope, nope, Kiki. Kiki, I need you to wait here. Thank you. Ach, ch, 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 ch. Good girl. Thank you. It's impressive. She doesn't usually do that. She's pretty distracted by deer and chipmunks and squirrels. We're going on an adventure. Are going to need to reside the house. I am so sick of heavy metal objects. Beautiful sight. So I want to take a minute and catch you guys up. As I said, this segment, if I would title it, it would really be called Except the Lord Built the House. The past 3 weeks, and we're coming right up on a year since I started, because July 1st of 2022 was the first day I came and actually took the fence down in the front yard. Just a minute, buttons. To carry water in, because while our new plumbing is hooked up, it's not actually running yet. We don't have any faucets or spigots. A couple of things went pretty gravely wrong. Gravely meaning expensive and large. So to start out with, this lovely portion of the house, which used to be that ugly back deck and for which we bought the beam, when the contractor opened this up, there was no foundation left. So his estimated expense had to double, and taking in this back deck cost me around $6,000 instead of $3,000. But he worked his hardest. He took an extra day that he didn't have for my house to get it done in time, which I really appreciated. Upstairs, when I took the chimney out, I was able, thank God, to patch the roof temporarily, and then my contractor made a half day once again to get that done. In the course of ripping out all of the walls and things, there were different people's names scrawled onto studs or on lath board who had worked on the house, and that is, I'm gonna try to find one here. I think there's one on the stud right here. I don't think it'll let me switch midstream, will it? Will it? Will you? No. Okay, so right here, see, can you see it? It's scrolled in, it says John Kneifel Mellon. And it's really cool when you see those things to see who worked in it. And there, I found a couple throughout the house. Well, one of them happened to be the same last name as the city building inspector in Ashland. And I had asked one of my coworkers about, what size to get the beam, because that's not the contractor's job. He can install it, but he's not responsible for calculating the load bearing weight and everything on the beam. Well, my coworker wound up reaching out to the city inspector just to make sure he got it right on that beam. And I had told the gentleman, by the way, I found a piece of lath board with one of your relatives' names scrawled on it. Would you like to see it? And he said, let me come take a look at the house. I said, sure, I would love to. Thank you very much. So when he came down to look at the house, he noted, he took a look. He said it was a good little house, which was a huge answer to prayer. And I was pretty confident it was solid, but there was one thing that concerned me, which was a particular crack in the basement. And I'm going to show you that. I'll put a picture there of what it looked like. The basement's still pretty wet. During the course of putting in the new plumbing, the plumbers noticed that the sewer main, the main sewer main going out to the street, was bad, which I had also suspected, but they needed to replace the entire sewer main all the way out, which is why in the front yard you saw all of that rock and gravel and retaining wall block, because I have to put a new retaining wall in. They had to dig the entire front yard out. Take a look at these pics. But now that is all finished up and lovely and brand new. Plumbing all the way through the house. Problem was, in the course of jackhammering down here, this lovely crack decided it was a good time after 100 years of non-movement to start shifting. And I noticed a gap on the outside of the house. I noticed a gap on the outside of the house that the trim was moving away from the corner when I was weed eating one of those days, and the yard needs to be done again now, but it's not. When I was weed eating, and show you it, I was like, oh Lord have mercy, the foundation's moving. Get on the buttons. There you go. So right here, as you can see, this started to gap pretty badly. And when you see a noticeable gap in just a couple of days, you know that foundation's moving. So when the building inspector had come out, I had showed him that crack in the basement. He was like, I don't think it's moved in 50 years. You should be fine. Don't worry about it. But I'll send you some drawings just in case it ever moves again, so you have a way to support it. I mean, thank the Lord I had those drawings. The only thing, this still has to get ripped down, that lean-to. The only changes where the rough and plumbing were in, so I have to alter the bracing a little bit. But when it started moving, I reached out to both him and my contractor to say, like, what can I do so I don't have to rip out the plumbing? And he was happy to send a reply. Very grateful for that. And then my contractor was far too busy to take on emergency work, but I told him I don't think this can wait. If you can't do it, then I'm going to try to do it myself. But he had a recommendation for a local brick and concrete worker who very, very kindly made time that week, like actually the next day, to come out and look at it, and then made time in his schedule 3 days later to complete the cutting out of the floor, the casting of the new portion of the concrete, and setting the steel post in. And it should be mostly cured today, and then I'll be putting up the bracing or preparing the bracing. But the only damage the house seems to suffer, other than sinking just a little bit there, was the new back kitchen door won't quite pull closed. You have to turn the latch and close it, but it didn't even quite sink low enough to really interfere with the door. Here, I'll show you right here. So if you go, oh, and today it will. So maybe that post is doing more good than I thought. But all I wanted to say is, even in the simple things, like the kindness of saying to someone, hey, your relative worked on it, you want to see it? And the way the Lord used that for me to have architects and a legitimate architect's plans on hand, and to where I've been trying so hard since the beginning of May to finish up these bathroom floors. I have to finish out the subfloor, fill the cracks, and put in self-leveling concrete so that those are ready to complete the rough in, to put in tile, all that good stuff. And try as I might, something has come up every single time. And I now realize the Lord knew that the house was going to shift a little bit more and the floors wouldn't be level. I mean, even if it's just that quarter, if it's a quarter inch or whatever, then the tile's not going to be level and you're more prone to cracking. But so many things in this, even to, and here's the last thing. Because of the sewer main, and maybe in another episode, I will actually talk to you guys about how I got the money for this project, which was actually my first renovation when I was in my late 20s that I did, is what gave me the funds for this. So I have a very specific and limited amount of money to do this house with, which I earned. But the amount that the sewer main and the retaining wall cost completely negated my getting siding this year, but the funds were there. After all of that, and I had mapped everything out, I mapped out electrical and plumbing, drywall, I already purchased kitchen cabinets and appliances, like I'm close to out of money. And then when that foundation moved, I just thought, oh Lord have mercy, I don't have that left. I don't have it left to repair a whole foundation. I mean, foundation repairs could be 20 grand. There's no way I can pull that out of a hat. It's impossible. And if I don't fix it, the whole house is going to collapse and cave in, and I'm going to lose my life savings and work in this house. It's like, really, the most that I can afford is $1,500. Like, that's the remainder of my cushion. I'm already into my emergency fund for life, trying to work on the house, and the mason's work wound up being $1,200 and supplies and materials were $13. Trust God. When he calls you to do something, he provides and he makes a way. And when we seek him and honor him, it doesn't mean we work any the less hard or we sit back and say, well, then take care of it, God. We do our best and he uses that and honors when we honor him, but don't doubt when God gives you something to do. Can't wait till that door's gone either. New one's in the garage. Okay, guys, I gotta get to work. This is gonna be my longest video ever. Bye.